Orcinus orca, most commonly known as a killer whale, is in the class Chordata. They are a warm-blooded, air-breathing marine mammal. In males, their dorsal fin can be up to 6 feet tall, where in a female it's shorter and more curved. In the wild, they can live from 50 to 80 years. A whale has a keen sense of hearing that can help them in almost every aspect of their lives, including avoiding predators, finding mates, and communicating with other members of their species. Orcas take 4 short breaths 10 to 30 seconds apart and then dive for between 1 and 4 minutes. Unlike humans, they must have conscious control of breathing, even when they're asleep. The killer whale has adapted to live underwater freely, being able to dive at least 100 meters deep for 3 to 4 minutes. It's also developed a large amount of blubber, which helps it in maintaining its body heat and helps it survive in cold environments. During migration, food is unnecessary as the orca can live off of body fat and calories stored in its blubber for up to 4 months. Orca essentially relies on its 4-chambered heart, which can weigh the mass of a small car, and large arteries. Blood is rapidly and quickly pumped throughout its body, and because of this, it's a huge factor to the orca's survival. It also has modified lungs to assist in breathing underwater for large amounts of time, being able to fill them up in a mere 2 seconds. The killer whale has also adapted to hunt efficiently, occasionally traveling in pods. They can travel up to speeds of 50 kilometers per hour. Also, the killer whale is a toothed whale, which means they can rip apart and chew their prey with ease. Orcas live from shallow coastal areas to deep waters off the continental shelf, but they prefer higher latitudes and coastal environments. They are not limited by salinity, temperature, or depth. They have the capacity to move through waters of different latitudes, the open sea, and they can reach coastal areas with depths of only a few meters.
Orcas are an apex predator, and only humans hunt them. Orcas feed on seabirds, birds, octopuses, sea turtles, sharks, rays, fish, and marine mammals such as seals and dugongs. Orcas give birth to a single baby. They start breeding about 14-15 years of age. Babies nurse for about 1 year, and almost half the babies die within the first year. Female orcas only breed for about 25 years, and they stop when they are about 40 years old. Each female only produces 4 to 6 surviving offsprings in her life. Female orcas live an average of 50 years, and males live an average of 29 years. Orcas are usually born from October to March every year. When the baby is born, they're born tail first and close to the surface of the ocean. They learn to swim within 30 minutes of its birth, and they average 6.5 to 8 feet long and weigh about 400 pounds. On May 23, 2003, there were sonar operations conducted by the Marine Navy. This continued for 5 hours in Juan de Fuca and in Haro Strait between the Vancouver Island. This had created huge harassments for the marine mammals, especially whales. The whales were forced to flee from their environment because of the intense mid-frequency the sonar was blasting for a long time. Orcas have a keen sense of hearing, especially for the survival and communication, so sonar blasts can cause serious injury or death from tissue trauma. And they can also suffer from temporary or permanent hearing loss, displacement from preferred habitat, and disruption of feeding, breeding, communication, and other behaviors essential to their survival. Killer whales live short lives in captivity, and at least 156 orcas have been taken into captivity from the wild since 1961, and 129 of those orcas are now dead. Orcas can live an average of 30 years, male, and females can live an average of 46 years. At least 166 killer whales have died in captivity, and SeaWorld holds 20 orcas in its 3 parks in the United States, and 49 orcas have died at SeaWorld. One of the most infamous capture incidents saw over 80 whales from the southern resident population of orcas in Washington State rounded up at Penn Cove in 1970. 7 were taken into captivity while as many as 5 whales died. Now the population is recognized as endangered.
But when the whole hunt was over, there were 3 dead whales in the net. And so they had Peter and Brian and I cut the whales open, fill them with rocks, and put anchors on their tail and sink them.
Another endangerment to orcas are plastic in the ocean. A garbage truck full of plastic is dumped in the ocean every single minute. And by 2050, there will be more garbage and plastic in the ocean than there are fish. There are many orca foundations, one of which is known as the Orca Conservancy Foundation, which helps the orcas in the ocean. They donate monies to help the orcas that are endangered, and they also help the orcas who are stranded on land get back to their homes.